Hey guys, welcome back to MFAMyWay. It's been a while, which shouldn't shock anyone at this point. To be fair, there's been a shitload on my plate recently. We had bed bugs, which I don't know why I sounded so excited about that. Bed bugs are a part of living in New York, and they suck, and they're obnoxious, and they are incredibly difficult to get rid of. So we had that problem in the apartment, and that consumed like 2.5 weeks or so of my life. Everything was in plastic, everything had been basically washed in hot water, thrown in the industrial laundromat dryers for 40 minutes on high, and the exterminator came twice, and it's a nightmare. But it's something that if you live here, you know can happen anywhere. They happen in five-star hotels, they happen in very clean apartments, they happen in run-down places, corridors, basically like anywhere. It's an epidemic in New York City. So that was a lot of fun. I didn't want to do a video during that time because I was like, my mind is elsewhere, the apartment's a mess, it didn't feel like the right time to do something. So I didn't. Now it's 4th of July, so happy 4th of July, everyone. I went out to Denver to visit my sister. She graduated from culinary school, finally. It was a really big celebration for a lot of my family. She got top marks in everything, and we are just so freaking proud of her. Like, her product is beautiful. When she put everything on display for a portfolio review, it looked like it was some sample for like a wedding convention where people could come and be like, hey, can you do my wedding? It was just gorgeous, and it tasted phenomenal too, which I think is the most important part. So I was out there with my family for a couple of days. So I'm taking a Dialect 1 class at ESPA, which is the Eishorn School at Primary Stages. Primary Stages is a theater in New York, and I guess they have a school attached to it. But one of the courses is a dialect class, and you can take the first level, and if you take the first level, then you can take the second level. But they're with a teacher from NYU grad school. Her name is Jane Fujita, and she has done accent work on, like, I'm going to say most of the accents on the world. We're going at it from a very intellectual perspective. We're learning the IPA, the International Phonetics Alphabet, and we're listening to samples. We are learning mouth and throat placement, so I do have a bit of a Midwest accent. I have a tongue arch, which is typical of American accents anywhere from like the Dakotas all the way across the US, like the upper half, I guess, not the South, the upper half, all the way over to New York and parts of Maine. It's kind of crazy. So I'm learning how to mold my mouth into different shapes and consciously thinking about, oh, it's this sound, not this sound. And I want to maybe lift my soft palate more and drop my tongue. And there's this weird thing called cupping where we practice it holding a grape in your mouth to do an exaggerated sense of that. I mean, it's a great price too. It's like $250, $260 for 12 hours, something like that. And I'm really getting my money's worth for this, so it's a great investment. And the end goal, obviously, is to be able to break out a British accent whenever I want to. Instead of listening to samples right before I go into an audition or something like that, I can look at a piece of text and write it out phonetically if I want to, or feel confident enough to just work on it for a day and then go in instead of having this moment of panic. And so I don't hold myself back from those auditions. So I can go to the EPA or whatever it is and feel confident in saying, yes, I have a British accent in my back pocket. And I can do it for you now. I can do it for you at a callback. I can do whatever. And then to be able to look at like Cockney accents or Yorkshire accents, or be able to say this character comes from like 1912, so I know that I need to do this with my RP, or this is a modern girl and she'd be on the looser end of the RP scale, so I can do this. So that was kind of all mixed up and jumbled around, but it's a great class, and I'll talk more about it later if I can. I think when this class is over, I want to go back to the Matt Newton studio and take classes with Blair again, if she's available, or continue to look for other acting classes and potentially a Shakespeare class. I might start that early because I have found that I'm getting a lot more callbacks, and it's because I'm doing all this observation at Forum, and because I've actually sat down and gone through all my notes from Blair's class, from these other classes, and trying to incorporate them into learning my monologues, into auditions, and it seems to be working at this point. I don't know what the next step is at the moment. It might be to add some more real material, to take more classes, make contacts. I don't know. There's a fucking siren everywhere. Stop it. I basically feel like I don't know what I'm doing right now, aside from taking classes. And I don't want taking classes to become my identity at this point. I don't want it to become a crutch. And I don't think it's going to become a crutch because I am consistently auditioning still. The better thing is, how do I land them instead of just getting the callbacks? And it's frustrating. I know everyone goes through this, but maybe grad school really is the option right now. I don't know. I legitimately don't know. I have 3 or 4 friends going off to grad school. Part of me is really jealous. Part of me really wants to go with them and to go back to school and be safe in that atmosphere. And I know that's not why they're doing it. That's part of the appeal for me, unfortunately, is that it's a safe place to learn and explore. And then part of me says, keep soldiering on. Keep doing what you're doing. You are getting some positive results. Just keep at it. Just keep at it. And I don't know, I'm babbling at this point. I've got some serious doubts right now. It's hard to push through sometimes. Anyway, on a positive note, everything else in my life is going pretty damn well. So I really can't complain. When I get into these moments, I just have to take a step back and think about the world and be like, there's bombings in Baghdad and Dhaka and Turkey and all these places. The world is a mess. I'm living in New York. By international standards, I'm pretty freaking well off. And I'm able to pursue my dreams instead of literally just fighting for survival. So I have no excuse to sit here and be like, oh, I'm got doubts, I've got worries, I've got all these things, when really, I'm perfectly fine. So that's how I get myself out of those things. And the gym always helps, although right now I'm kind of sick, so I'm not going to go to the gym. Anyway, I hope some of that made sense. I hope you had a great 4th of July, and your summer's going well, and you're going on vacation and things like that, and I will talk to you all later.